right? Imagine
Uh-huh.
probing is actually the aliens have picked us up for like a date and they're probing you with questions.
Welcome to Florpa Gorpa Zorb. My name's Chad. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite Kardashian? And how many toes do you have?
An alien dating app. You have to put in height, hair
Yep.
color, interest, number of eyes, number of limbs.
Number of. Hello, and a warm welcome back to episode 2 of the Idiots Anonymous podcast. My name's Ryan, and I'm an idiot.
All right.
So this week I'm an idiot because last year I decided to lie on a patch of long grass with shorts and a t-shirt, get bitten by a tick, contract Lyme disease, and had to go get antibiotics in the US, which cost my insurance $400. So I'm still kicking.
Yeah, I like how it's to be, oh, you're an idiot. I was like, oh, I actually feel sorry for you rather than like it's dumb. Anyway, hello, my name's Rory.
Hi, Rory.
Yeah, this time I'm an idiot because I've left the little light in your car on for so long that it's wiped out my battery completely twice. So I
Wait,
did
which-
not learn.
What light? Like your headlights?
No, the cabin light, like the one just above you, left that on twice and completely wiped out my battery. So I didn't learn from the mistake. Therefore, idiot right here.
That always surprises me so much because like leaving a little tiny light on, it's like an LED in the cabin, you know, the one above your head. How can that drain a full car battery? Surely that's just like a couple of watts.
It's an old car, so I don't think the battery survives a
Uh,
lot. Yeah, I had to try and jumpstart it in the rain and wind. It was a whole ordeal. Maybe a story for another time.
Anyway, so this is episode 2. Last week we talked about the show Upload and the concept of uploading your consciousness to a digital afterlife. So we thought we would continue the theme of abstract sci-fi concepts. And this week we've binge watched a new Netflix show called Alien Worlds. You might have seen it getting pushed to you constantly on Netflix. It's like the front page, it's like watch this now. If you haven't watched it, it will keep showing you it until you watch it.
Yeah.
But it's actually really good. It explores the evolutionary development of life on Earth and then applies those same laws to different planets that we've discovered called exoplanets, and conceptualizes how life might look out there in the universe. So if you haven't seen it, give it a bash. It's absolutely mental, the stuff they come up with. So Rory, cat men, lizard people, giant scorpions, armored creatures with big fangs that bleed acid, little green men with oversized craniums, or little green, cute, furry things that can use the force. Did they build the pyramids? Are they watching us right now? What did you think of the show? Are they among us right now? Did they influence the 2016 and 2020 elections?
Yeah, I like how it's like, oh, this really scientific view on how life might have evolved. Yeah, they came here. Did they assassinate JFK? Definitely. It's a full-on
100%.
conspiracy now.
Do you want to give a rundown of one of your favorite episodes or sort of explain your take on it?
Yeah, can do.
Maybe.
So, is this the one with the sky flyers? Is that
The Sky
Atlas?
Grazers, I think.
Sky
they were called.
Grazers? Sorry, is that Atlas? Yeah.
Yep.
So essentially, it just kind of like decides what planet it wants to look at, and then kind of looks at the different animals that might be on that planet. So the one on Atlas is looking more at how predators and prey evolve. So there's these things called sky grazers, so these six-winged lizards kind of thing that eat little plant seeds that float up into the atmosphere because the gravity is like double what it is on Earth, but because of that, the atmosphere is thicker, which means things can fly a lot easier just because there's more kind of uplift, and they kind of fly down, eat the different seeds, but there's these little, I don't know how to describe them, as like little bug things that they look like little animal hot air balloons, and they fly up.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
They drop down on these grazers to eat them, which is like mad. But then the way that the show works is it takes that idea, and then it goes, well, that's not completely out the blue because is it hawks or falcons? It looks at falcons.
Yeah.
So what falcons do when they hunt their prey is they fly really, really high, and then they kind of dive down at a really high speed onto their prey, which is what they were comparing the little hot air balloon things. So it's the same idea. Because it was really cool. I like the way that they go, see how this is a thing on Earth? Why wouldn't it be on another planet? Which has always been my argument when people go, oh, aliens can't exist. But he's like, well, how do we exist?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I love that stuff because, you know, whenever you're at a party, right, and you've had 2 or 3 beers and you meet a new person and somehow you start talking about aliens, that might just be me.
No, I do it. Definitely.
Oh, you do it? Okay, that's fine. Everyone's had the conversation. Everyone's got their own theories. I've always had this theory like ready, loaded into my shotgun when people ask. And it's like, if the Big Bang can happen here and create life here, then why can it not happen elsewhere in the universe? And also, it doesn't need to be physical. You know, there can be non-physical life, potentially.
Oh, yeah. But why wouldn't there be?
But essentially, what I wanted to ask you, did you think the show accurately, you know, portrayed those concepts? Because to me, aliens would be far more unconceivable, you know?
Yeah, but I think it depends on... So if you go by the we evolved kind of viewpoint, then we weren't always like this. We evolved to our prey and we evolved to our environment. So the planets that have jungle on them, why wouldn't they have arms to swing on the trees? Or like why wouldn't they have fangs to bite into stuff?
True.
So I think it does a pretty good job of making something that looks alien, but like the things that it has, like the limbs or the different features it has on its body, make sense to the environment. Because they have the one where there's the planet that doesn't spin, so one half of the planet is constantly in darkness and therefore cold.
Oh yeah.
And then there's the one that is like properly in the sun all the time, and there's like little heptapods that scutter. So they have to move that fast because they can't be in the sun for very long, so they have to scutter really quick from shade to shade.
Yeah.
And then they've got like tentacles rather than arms because the tentacles make sense to feel around the rocks and things like that. So yeah, I think the show's quite good at just like, here's a rough idea of what this planet is like.
Yeah.
What does that animal need to survive? Because even the sky grazers, they have 6 wings, so they can control their flight a lot better. So you've got the main ones to catch the draft and then the little ones to steer a bit better, which makes sense.
Yeah, totally, I suppose. I mean, so what I've done is I've looked at a couple of different concepts from sci-fi authors. So there's this guy called Aaron Rosenberg, and he wrote books about World of Warcraft, Star Trek, Warhammer. He also wrote some of the Transformers animated series.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, so this is a man of impeccable taste and talent.
And he sort of explores the concept of, you know, think about how small our planet is compared with the universe as a whole. It's like finding the weirdest shaped M&M in the bag and then realizing that you're in an entire candy store filled with literally thousands of other kinds of candy, most of which you've never even heard of before. So like a real alien would be so far from anything we've ever imagined that we would barely be able to comprehend its existence. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's similar to what we're talking about environments though. Like, why would it be so mental if, say, the atmosphere or like the landscape is roughly the same as ours? Like, think of even a dinosaur. So dinosaurs lived on our planet. We only think we know what a dinosaur kind of looked like. Like all the renders of like the different kind of dinosaurs, they could be completely wrong. But they are weird little things. You never looked at
feathers.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of them. They even think, I think it was T-Rexes, they think might have feathers because they leave little indentations on the bone where the kind of end of the feathers were. And they found them on smaller dinosaurs that they think needed wings to survive.
Yeah.
Which is why like chickens are part dinosaur, they think. Yeah. But they just evolved to have more feathers.
If you think about a pterodactyl, right? Why would that not have feathers? What thing exists now that's just like a scaly flying thing?
Bats don't have feathers.
Oh shit, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But they're furry though, right?
They're furry on their body.
Yeah.
Um,
And their
but
wings are just like skin.
yeah. I don't. I
I'm not a
couldn't tell
bat
you
expert.
yeah. I couldn't tell you the texture of a bat wing. Because I don't think it's like reptile skin. I think it's
If you
like,
go to Wuhan, they might.
oh no. Yeah. Yeah. I guess so.
The cool thing, did you manage to watch all 4 episodes?
I did.
Yeah.
The last one is weird.
It's mental.
Mm.
The one that really stuck out to me. So actually, Scotland features in episode 3. There only has 4 episodes. In episode 3, they talk about like symbiotic relationships.
Yeah.
And so they sort of look at the predators on this alien world go after these little grazer rabbit thingies. And like there's a fungus controlling the whole ecosystem. So essentially what happens is the grazers feed on this fungus, then that eliminates their fear instinct. So then the predators can kill them easier.
Mm-hmm.
But then when the predators ingest the toxin that was inside that prey, they drop dead or it poisons them. And then the fungus that covers the whole, soil and the ground of this forest decomposes that body and uses the body of the predator to grow more fungus. So it's like
really
this
cool.
mental like circle of life. And they related that back to Earth with the wood wide web. Do you remember that?
Yes. The fungus kind of connects the different plants together, kind of thing. There's a fungus that controls ants as well. That's where you get zombie ants from.
Yeah. Oh, that creeps me out. But yeah, so it was like there's a huge mycelium network underneath the soil in the forest that connects all of the trees together like a neural network. And all the trees can communicate indirectly in a whole forest because all their roots are connected by this massive network of fungus. And what happens is this network can sense if one tree in the forest is dying, and then trees hundreds of meters, thousands of meters away can donate nutrients through this network to save that tree.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that a lot. The whole symbiotic thing's quite cool though. They didn't really explore like how they work together, kind of thing. Like, you ever seen the little birds that clean the teeth in crocodiles?
No.
So I couldn't tell you what the little bird's called. So essentially, the crocodiles, the alligators, they open up their mouth, and then the little birds go in and they eat the food that's stuck in the crocodile's teeth, and the crocodile won't eat the birds because it stops its teeth from rotting, and the bird gets fed. Yeah,
I never have heard of that before.
Yeah, there's tons of little things. Like, some animals will ride other animals to get across things because they help each other, and that would have been quite cool to see in the show. I don't know if they'll do that later on, like how different species might work together.
Are you talking about the frog and the scorpion?
Oh, is it the frog and the scorpion, or there's the similar ones with turtles. But have you never seen like animals for some reason like riding on other animals? Like, anyone that's got a cat and a turtle, for some reason the cat's like, get on the turtle, go.
Classic animals.
Classic, just playing up for the camera. Shocking.
Yeah, it's insane. But I found myself, what they do in the show is like they use these CGI sequences to show you. It's super realistic. It's like great graphics. It's like Avatar 2009 level of like good CGI. And they show you like maybe a 10-15 second clip, because these things are expensive to make, Think of the concept art and the storyboarding and all the animating and the rendering that went into making these like 10-15 second clips of like alien worlds. So they repeat them. Did you notice that? So much.
Yeah, it's like my biggest pet peeve when I watch anything. And I completely understand why you'd replay it, because of the amount of time and effort it takes, and you don't really need to make another kind of filler animation. Yeah. But there was one episode that showed like the same animation maybe 4 times. It's like, oh,
and you're like, come on, give me some new content.
I want to see this animal do something more mental, please. Thank you. It's like we ran out of time and we couldn't put them through render, so we'll just use the files we have.
Yeah, that's it. It's like these things must take so much computing power to make.
Oh, yeah. I imagine they just go, right, set up a render and we'll be in tomorrow and maybe it'll be halfway done. because they're pretty cool. Especially the little you thing that looks like a monkey. It's got like 4 arms.
Yeah.
That was cool. Like the fur on that is mad. It looks so good.
With the stretchy arms.
Yeah, and it goes kind of reaches it. It's really cool. You should definitely watch it just to see the visuals on that, because it is really cool.
Rory just did like a really good mime of the monkey thing, but you won't be able to see it.
Yeah, I'm forgetting. Yeah, this is just audio. Maybe eventually we'll have some sort of video, but just imagine me just reaching out and going, wah, that.
But it's like from the stomach. The arms come out of your stomach. There's like a
yeah.
second set of arms, and they like stretch out to try and catch these little rabbits. It's mad. The last thing I wanted to talk about in terms of like the show and the different civilizations that they talk about. The last episode is about a super advanced alien species that no longer have bodies. They have evolved to no longer need their bodies. They just exist as neural tissue in boxes. And little robots come and feed them glucose from plants.
Yeah, because I thought it was really cool because I watched it not that long after we did the previous podcast when you were talking about humans could be uploaded and then have the robots take care of them. And that's exactly what they were doing, is that they're connected, but it's not like a manufactured afterlife thing they've got. It's more they're connected to each other.
So like a hive mind.
Yeah, so they said it's like it works together as like a hive mind, but they're all their own individuals. So they kind of like communicate with each other. Just, I don't know, imagine like the same idea as the upload thing, but it's to do with your brain, not any computer power. But I just thought it was really cool because it was exactly what you were talking about, having robots take care of the world around them, designed by the people being taken care of. Yeah. And it's exactly what this thing was doing. It's just like, oh, you called it. He's nailed that.
Called it, mate. I'm a futurist. I'm a philosopher.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Of science.
I can't wait to go full Futurama and just be a head in a jar and have a wee robot do stuff for me. That's the dream.
But why?
I don't know. I don't know why they would want to be just like why they wouldn't want their bodies, but
yeah,
it's the same discussion as last time, I guess. But yeah, it was cool to see. I mean, I completely understand roughly how that would work. Imagine we were all just little boxes. We could fit tons of those. Tons of
little boxes. Like we are just cubes, little Legos living in a big dome because the planet's dead. Hey, that's probably closer than you think.
Oh, I bet it is. Wonder how many people are looking that up just every day. When are we going to be boxes?
Mum, when are we going to be boxes?
Mum, when are we going to be boxes?
Little kids coming home from school.
Yeah, the popularity of that, it's a classic little transition. It brings us to our first segment. Yeah.
Segment?
Now, for the higher or lower segment, my jolly old chaps.
The higher or lower game. So it's got pretty popular on YouTube for a bit, and I went, why don't I just nick that straight away?
Just nick it straight from other.
Yeah, we don't need to be original on this podcast at all.
Absolutely not.
So the higher or lower game, essentially, it's a game that looks at how popular things are in searches. So it gives you 2 things to compare, and you need to say if it's got more monthly average searches as the one previous, or less.
Oh.
So
okay.
I thought, I can't see the answer, and you can't see the answer when we play, so we could maybe just have like a little competition to see who can get the most out of this.
Yeah, do it. Let's roll it.
Roll VT. So the first one is Bill Russell. He's a kind of old Celtics basketball player. He has 135,000 average monthly searches. Do you think a black hole has more or less than Bill Russell?
Oh, more.
Yeah, I'm also going to go more, definitely. Just especially probably after that picture got taken of the black hole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I bet that went through the roof because that was so cool.
I'm saying more because I've no idea who that guy is.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of him and I still don't know who this person is.
Anyway, I don't follow any sports. I have zero knowledge of sports.
Well, yeah.
I do know about holes, black holes.
Black holes. Okay, hi. Yeah, the black hole has 368,000 average monthly searches. That's quite a lot for a black hole.
I thought it would be more than that, actually.
Really? But that's average. That's not like...
Oh, it's average.
Yeah, it's average monthly. Yeah. So
because I could probably tell you, in the past year, I've probably searched up black holes like 5 times.
Yeah, and if you times that by 6 billion or 8 billion, whatever we said last time, as people on the Earth, that's all. Everyone should be looking at black holes at least once. They're
Are you
pretty
trying
cool.
to say that? Are you trying to say that everyone on planet Earth has access to Google?
Next question: what has more, climbing or black hole?
Climbing or black hole?
Yeah, it just says it literally just climbing. Surely,
Uh,
I'm gonna go higher because there's a bunch of different climbing things you could do.
What you're saying, climbing's higher than black hole? Yeah, I agree, definitely, because that's
Okay.
that everyone's obsessed with climbing these days.
Just like your boy here who can't go because of COVID. Okay, we're both going higher. Oh, we got that one wrong.
What? No.
Yeah,
How
it
many
only has
searches?
200,000 searches.
Wow.
Okay, that means we lose. We'll try again. So we've so far gotten one right.
We
Okay.
were. I was talking about climbing today with some people from work. They were saying like during COVID. I'm pretty sure they opened them at the same time as gyms because it's like a climbing gym.
Mm-hmm.
But you are just sweating and putting chalk that's touched you all over these blocks of plastic in the wall.
Yeah.
The whole sport is centered around touching the same things.
There was a little study on that chalk actually is quite
Yeah.
good because it dries out the virus.
Oh.
So this the contaminants that would come from sweat, it dries them out so that you can't pass them on. But that was one study, and everyone was using it. It was like, oh no, climbing's fine now. Like, I don't know about that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I was thinking because you get liquid chalk, which is chalk
You can.
suspended in like
Yep.
alcohol. So I
Yep.
was like, that's just like you're sanitizing the little blocks as you go.
Yeah,
Right.
the idea is you should sanitize your hands often, but that makes them slick. It doesn't really make much sense. That's why I've avoided it. But I do
Okay.
understand the kind of, you can limit it the same way you could at the gym, I guess. But just I'm not too sure how that would actually work.
Okay. Anyway,
So this game is starting out with Mount Everest is the first one. It has 550,000 average monthly searches
what?
versus
Okay.
the iPhone 7.
iPhone 7.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we on now? I've never had an iPhone in my life. What iPhone are we on? 11?
What it went 7, 8, and then straight to 10.
Yeah.
Then no, I think we're on 12. Is 12 not the
we
flat
are.
one?
We are on iPhone 12. Yeah.
It's
Mate,
really
that's
funny.
mad.
The image you've used on this website is like someone's attempt at a render of what it might be before it comes out. It does not look good.
I'm saying lower.
Yeah, I think I'm also saying lower. I've also realized the way they play this game, if one of us gets it wrong, we kind of lose the game anyway. So we'll just see if we can get to 3. I think is a good gauge. Can we get 3 right in a row? And we'll take that as a personal victory, and we can go home. Happy
Drop
boys.
a like and a comment down below if you want to see more.
Want to see us play the higher or lower game more?
The most mentally stimulating podcast segment in the world.
It totally went to my original plan. Oh, so we're saying less, lower.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god.
Is it higher?
Yeah, it has 11 million.
Wait, so you're telling me that the same amount of people that watch a PewDiePie video search for an iPhone 7 every month?
No. Yes. I don't know. The website is. I don't know what I'm telling you. Right, we'll try. I think we'll try one more time to see if we can get more than one. The next word is not good.
What does it say?
The next word is
Oh, as in the seeds.
no. I don't think so. Why would that be in this game?
So anyway, that's the end of this segment.
I think genuinely yep, okay. It was a fun game while we played it.
Okay, coming back to the topic at hand.
Yeah.
Alien worlds.
Okay, that we messed up that segment. Let's just move past it and forget we did it.
First contact.
Yes, that's the cool topic. Is first.
That's the topic we want to talk about, really. So, have you researched? What's your view on first contact? Like, have we had it already? When will we have it? What's it going to be like? Is Logan Paul going to be the point of contact between humanity and aliens?
Yeah, I think see if they do the way they do in movies like Transformers and stuff, where they learn by consuming media from the planet before they go down. Think how much like the Paul brothers are uploading or talked about or whatever. Surely. But like in terms of first sighting, what I found is the first well known like actual sighting that was reported was all the way back in 1947. So there was a businessman called Kenneth Arnold who was flying his plane. So he was like on a private license.
Okay.
And he noticed these kind of small, it says crescent shaped objects moving by a really kind of fast pace. So the way he actually figured out how fast they were going, which was like, I think he said like 3,000 miles an hour or something like that, is he tracked them on the horizon and then used how fast he was going and how much distance he covered, and then figured out from point to point using different landmarks. So he noticed them over the hills, Mount Rainier in Washington, and he used those as like points and then figured out roughly how fast they would have to be going. And it's funny because the reason flying saucers became the kind of that's what aliens are in is because he said that they moved like they were skipping on water, and he said they were kind of like saucers the way they skip. So when people heard the story, saucers was the word that got used. So then that's why people said flying saucers. But actually, yeah, most reports, they aren't saucer shaped. They're either balls or like teardrop shapes.
Yeah, so the saucer shaped spacecraft archetype came after the name.
Yes. So
that's really interesting.
So I think that when they reported it, they were like, "Oh, flying saucers." He never said they were saucers. He said they were like saucers the way they moved, like skipping.
I see.
Which is quite cool. But that was the first sighting, and after that, America kind of went flying saucer mad.
Do you think we've had any contact? Truthfully,
I think it's pretty unlikely.
Yeah,
I mean, there's the whole Area 51 thing that everyone's like, "Ooh, they must be taking apart alien spaceships up there."
But it's an Air Force base, though.
Yeah, well, it's
right.
Yeah, the base was actually made for like advancements in flying. So like the Blackbird, a bunch of other like really kind of complex flying machines, so planes and things, were made there. That's what it was for, because obviously it's in Roswell. There's like masses of desert they could use to fly over and not interrupt anything. That's why it's there. And when different pieces come off of it or anything like that, where the military are like, "Oh, we can't let people see that," they're like, "Aliens, that must be aliens, definitely aliens." It's like, why?
100%. Yeah,
because it was only in like 2003 or something that Area 51 were like, "Yeah, no, it's a base." Like before that, they were like, "There's no base there. No, what you're talking about? No idea."
That's right. Yeah, it was only officially recognized like it was 2003 or 2013 or something.
It was like fairly recently.
Yeah, that's funny. I read that in around 1900, the Guzman Prize was created. Have you heard of it?
No, that sounds cool.
So the Guzman Prize, the first person to establish interplanetary communication, with some form of life outside of Earth, would be awarded 100,000 francs.
Do you know what that is in pounds?
It's right now the exchange rate is roughly about the same, but from inflation, this is in 1900. So £1 from 1900 is now 122.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're not talking about the exchange rate from francs to pounds, it's roughly the same. That's 12.2 million pounds. We'll go to the first person who establishes interplanetary contact. But it was under one stipulation, so there was one rule to this prize.
Okay.
Mars was excluded because Madame Guzman, who created the prize, thought that communicating with Mars would be too easy to deserve a prize.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's legit.
It's kind of funny you talk about Mars because we have like possible evidence of other life from Mars.
What, like evidence of water?
Well, there was the Viking landers. So it was like, that was possibly the second rover, the Viking.
Oh, yeah.
That took a bunch of soil samples, and when they did some experiments to mix radioactive carbon like nutrients with the soil, they noticed a production of methane gas, which means there's possibly a microorganism in the soil.
Yeah.
However, there's a lot of scientists say, "Oh, not a big fan of that," because when they brought it back to test it,
yeah,
or they think the stuff could get like mixed up and
contaminated.
they think
Yeah.
when you did the test, you're contaminating it, so it might not be real. But it is like, that's quite
Where
cool.
else would? Oh, okay. That's strange.
Because they've done a few things where they think possibly there could be, at a microscopic level, life on Mars.
And life started here at a microscopic level. So if we just give it a couple of million years,
Yeah, you just like chill for a bit.
Could have Martians. We just chill for a bit.
Chill for, yeah.
Just meditate. Just the thing that I was thinking about as well is like interstellar travel. So
okay.
we are not at the center of our galaxy, So to the closest edge of our galaxy, it would take a signal, like an electromagnetic signal that travels at the speed of light. It would take that 25,000 years to travel there.
Really?
To the closest edge of our galaxy. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so yeah,
traveling at the speed of light.
is that even using the big satellite in Puerto Rico?
Well, it would just be
Any sort of
I think all electromagnetic communications travel at the speed of light.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And-
yeah, of course they do.
Right. And so if we somehow could design a spaceship or some form of vessel that travels at the same speed as an electromagnetic signal, which through some form of, I don't know how quantum entanglement works, right? But if that's possible, don't know. But let's say it is. We cannot travel faster than light.
No.
Because it basically, traveling faster than light is called superluminal. So superluminal communication is basically transmitting something faster than light. And it's impossible because in theory, it could be used to transmit information into the past.
Yeah, because it breaks the kind of like rules of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even if we could travel to different galaxies to meet other species, it would take us, best case, 25,000 years to get there.
Yeah, so we're kind of like relying on them having some sort of technology we haven't figured out yet.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because a lot of the rules of physics and stuff like that are from what we've found. But
Yeah,
you know, most scientific leaps would be us finding something. So imagine someone went, I've actually figured out how to break the speed of light. Like I've figured it out. Just a heads up. Like that's how what we think would happen if we did that, right?
Yeah, it's from our understanding.
Yeah. Or imagine like beings know how to teleport or something like that. It would rely on them coming to us as opposed to us going to them, I guess.
Yeah. And when you mention that, it's like something I've always thought about is, we are carbon-based life forms.
Mm-hmm.
So everything we know of that is living is based on carbon.
Yes.
Right? We have a periodic table of however many elements, right? That is all of the elements we've ever discovered that exist.
Yeah.
Or
made.
Or made, yeah. And what's to say that on different planets, in different solar systems, in different galaxies, there are new elements that construct a whole new periodic table out with our comprehension, not measurable.
Yeah, so then they can do wild things. Or like even like as a fuel, we just have like oil and like petroleum and stuff as fuel. But imagine there was like something that was just like you needed like a rock of it to launch a rocket, just because of like how potent that was when it fired. It would be mental.
It is. Like more reactive than anything we've ever seen. Yeah.
Well, back in 1997, do you remember when they set? Well, I guess you wouldn't remember when they actually did it, but do you remember the reading?
Back in my day,
the Voyager satellites.
No, I don't remember that, mate. I was not conceived.
I mean, do you remember being taught about them? I even tried to stop you making the joke, and you still did it. So the Voyager satellites we sent out ages ago, and the idea was that they would give us some like readings and information on Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and all the moons that surround it. So it could take images, or it could take like signals from it, and that's what they were there for. But they also put the gold disc on it. So they had like a record disc that was gold plated, and they put 115 images and a bunch of sounds, and I think they also put some music in it. To send a message to possible life out there, because essentially that Voyager satellite is just going to keep going because it's space, so nothing's going to slow it down unless it hits it.
Yes.
I was just thinking, see if we contacted, or like say next 60 years, an alien finds that.
Yeah. Okay.
Think how outdated the information from 1977 is to now.
They're going to be like, oh, mate, have you heard that music we just got from Earth? A guy called Michael Jackson.
What a guy.
Dude, mate, you have to listen to this. It is game changing. He's the king of pop. Oh, mate, I love Earth music. And then they're like, oh, do you want to go to Earth? Yeah, let's go to Earth.
Let's swing by.
Then they get here and it's like, what the fuck is this? The fuck is this?
Just kids dabbing all over the place. Just like, oh,
What is Fortnite?
There's the joke. But do you think aliens maybe pulled up outside, took a look at us for a minute and went, it's not worth it. Let's go. Nah, I don't think so. Because if I'm being honest, if I was in a more advanced life form, came across Earth, they'd be like, maybe not that. Like,
yeah, I agree.
We think we're like really advanced and stuff like that. But to a possible alien, we might be nothing. Like we're an ant.
Yeah, and we think we are an advanced civilization, right? But would a truly advanced civilization be this divided?
Oh, that's... Have you ever seen Absolutely Anything? It's a film.
Is that with Sean Pegg? No.
Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg.
Yeah,
Same
so
thing.
like a group of aliens that are like, we are the Galactic Federation. They assess planets on how good they are, and if they are good enough, they join the Federation. If they're not, they destroy the planet. And that's one of the things they go, oh, Earth is so divided. If we give one person our power and they use it for good, then that must mean this place is good. But then even in the movie, they make the joke is like, they judge other people, but they start arguing amongst themselves, because I think it's a natural thing for anyone with some sort of consciousness is like, I don't like your point of view, if I'm completely honest.
Right.
Yeah, why wouldn't they argue? Like, why would they be so good as
But I think
being?
I think arguments in that sense come from come from things like pride and the need to be right.
Yeah.
And if an advanced civilization really did exist, I think it would only exist if they transcended that. And yes, still kept their different viewpoints and kept their different, outlooks on the world and different subjects, but, transcended that pride and need to be right all the time. And I think that's like how a civilization could truly work together. Because imagine if all the humans on this planet had a common goal, even if the world was dying, which it is. But imagine, let's say we get definitive proof that the world is going to explode in, 1 year from now.
Mm-hmm.
Would the world come together?
No, absolutely not.
No, because we're arseholes.
Yeah, but what's to say like another race of alien beings wouldn't be the same? Like they would obviously have their own motives.
Yeah.
So I guess it would depend on what point they are in evolution. If they would, movies and stuff constantly do aliens as hive minds.
Yeah, all the time.
Constantly. But then every time that's the case, that the humans go, oh, hive mind, that's well rubbish. And then they destroy the one thing, and then that's how they win. Because that happens in Battle at Los Angeles. That happens in
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty happens in Independence Day. They destroy the big ship. It even happens in the Avengers.
Yep, and the Flood in Halo as well.
Oh, yeah. So, if they have transcended and they're some sort of hive mind, is that good? Is it? Because that means there's an easy weakness.
I'm not talking hive mind. I'm talking, a hive mind thinks in unison.
Yeah.
I'm thinking diverse points of view without conflict.
Yeah. I just think that, conflict naturally evolves. Like, animals do it between different animals. They get annoyed. They're territorial.
True.
So, yeah. I mean, I guess if anytime the world has actually worked together, we actually make something really cool. Like the International Space Station is the International Space Station. That thing's one of the coolest things ever. But even on that, they have their own wings.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I'm pretty sure different eras of tech are on there. So I think the Russian wing is really old compared to the American wing. I'm sure.
Communism versus capitalism, baby. I'm going to open a cold one. And speaking of the world working together, that leads us into segment number 2.
Ooh.
few minutes, we've heard that the first coronavirus vaccine has been approved for use in the UK by the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency.
A little bit of a news article, which we kind of wanted to discuss. I'm going to slurp on this.
Less of a game, more of a discussion time with Rory and Ryan.
Sorry, I have this can of beer. It's limes and sea salt lager, and it tastes like tequila, and it's awful. Anyway, so Pfizer and BioNTech, their vaccine for COVID was approved in the UK. That means that the UK is the first country in the world to begin rolling out vaccines for COVID, apart from Russia, because Russia started rolling it out before it was even tested.
Yeah.
They gave it to most of their healthcare staff before they even had 24 clinical trial results. Lol.
Yeah. We were just talking about Russian being mad, and they're like, yeah, that's good enough.
I don't want to get into that. So essentially, this new vaccine is mRNA technology, and it's the first ever vaccine to use this technology, this method, that's been approved at least. Usually vaccines use a weakened form of the live virus, which then acts as like a test run for the body to figure out the blueprints for the antibodies. But mRNA, which is messenger RNA, is like IKEA instructions or Lego instructions for your body to create those antibodies. So it doesn't actually see the virus, it just sees the instructions for the antibodies. So it's much more safe and efficient, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't actually know that.
So a lot of people are saying it's too early. You know, this thing
No.
has just been like, battered off the production line. What do you think about it?
I mean, as much as it might be quick, I think it doesn't have the same hurdles that everything else has had. So, like, in terms of like pure admin, I bet normally when you make some sort of medication or vaccine or whatever, you have like an insanely long time for people to put it into testing or to do all the paperwork that would allow it to go through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there would be like a queue even of stuff ahead of you, and you'd have to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. This one, I'm pretty sure as soon as it's been ready, get it going, test it, go. Like, it hasn't had the
funding
same...
available. Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't had the same kind of drawbacks or delays that most things would normally have, because I think, honestly, Oxford one being I think is very close to approval. Like, they've done some...
The AstraZeneca one.
Yeah, that one's like proved from like their testing stage safe. So I imagine that will be approved very soon as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, you could say that it's the same both ways, that both of them have been really, really quick. But I don't see them making something and cutting an insane amount of corners that could make an even worse thing, because they're already under like scrutiny. So why would they make it even worse, if you know what I mean?
Exactly. So like, there is so many eyes on them looking at them to see if they have cut corners.
Yeah.
Why would they ever take that risk,
Yeah.
Well, there's money, of course.
Yeah, I get that. But at the same time, it seems like I imagine how bad their life has been in terms of like stress or how much eyes have been on them.
Yeah.
Constantly. Why would they risk more of that?
It's true. And in the pharmaceutical, and medical device industry, these things are so heavily regulated. The amount of data that you have to gather that never even sees the light of day, is astronomical. Like, there's years of prerequisite work on the mRNA vaccines as well. I think I watched something on BBC about the Oxford one, and it was like last year or the year before, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago, they created like a universal vaccine base. So taken from like they took like the base of SARS and MERS and created basically a strain that you could slot the genetic code into it and then ramp up production. So essentially, you could take months off of the development time, and they have been doing that for years.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that COVID comes out and there's a pandemic of a respiratory coronavirus that works perfectly with this
Like
system.
building block.
Yeah.
Did you? I saw a pretty popular meme when the vaccine got announced, like initially.
Yeah.
And it was like a classic Karen post or whatever. It's like, don't let the government put all these chemicals in our kids' bodies. What they should do is give us a little bit of the virus and let us learn how to combat it ourselves. Someone went, that's literally what a vaccine is. It was so funny.
That's awesome. I saw a guy post on Facebook yesterday about the vaccine. He posted saying, so 6 people died during the clinical trials, the phase 3, 44,000 people clinical trials for the Pfizer vaccine. 6 people died, but 4 of those people were on the placebo, right?
Yeah.
Which means 2 people died while having the vaccine in them. And that's out of 22,000. So 22,000 had the vaccine and the other half had placebo.
Yeah.
And so 2 people out of those 22,000 died during those trials. And it was so interesting to me because if you get injected with, this vaccine and you die, essentially what they do is they compare the probability of you dying in everyday life during that period against what actually happened. And they said, well, actually, less people have that, or well, it's normal that amount of people would die in their age range, during this, during that period of time. I thought it was really interesting because he was posting and saying, he was comparing, there's 66,000, how many deaths are there in the UK with COVID? Is it 66,000 now?
I'm not gonna lie, I stopped looking at that number.
Yeah.
And
so he basically compared the probability of you dying from COVID with the probability of you dying from the vaccine. And the probability of you dying from COVID was lower than the vaccine. And there was, he presented it in a way that was like, this is outrageous. Look at these stats and look at these maths and whatnot. And there was all these people commenting on it saying like, oh my God, it's because of the money. It's a conspiracy. This is crazy. I can't believe the government are doing this, like giving us the vaccine, which is more likely to kill us than the virus.
And you think that's the
it's,
sample size is so much.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Because the probability that he used was 66,000 people have died from COVID, and there's something like 66 point something million people in the UK
that have had
right?
it. Yeah.
No, that are actually the population of the UK, right? And then you've got 66,000 to 66 million, and then you've got 2 to 22,000.
Yeah,
right?
the
confidence interval there is just astronomical. Like, you cannot compare those whatsoever. Yeah. And it's so easy to see how misinformation about the vaccine can spread like that. Yeah.
But there's always someone who's like, oh, I don't want to vaccinate my kid because look how many vaccinations kill the kids. You're like, yeah, but if you compared that actually realistically to how many people die of the disease you're getting the vaccine for, why wouldn't you get it?
Yeah.
Other than the government tracking us, obviously, because and they already track me through my phone, so it's fine if they put one on my body too.
If you had a microchip, what would they track that they don't already know? Your strange habits on Instagram.
Yeah,
they know your search history.
They'd know that sometimes I get up at 2 a.m. to make toast, and I don't know how I feel about that. Start sending me ads at 2 o'clock in the morning for bread.
Yep.
The new Hovis loaf.
The new Hovis loaf.
Perfect for morning toast.
How did you know that? How did you know that I like toast in the morning?
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to be a while till most people get the option to take the vaccine anyway, because rolling it out to care homes first, which they said there might be an issue with just because how difficult it is to get it to them, and then care workers are because of the cold people.
Chain, like the transport.
Yeah,
or something else.
Is it the Pfizer one has to be stored at like a really low temp?
Yeah, it's minus 70.
Yeah, so you need an actual freezer. But the Oxford one, I always say Oxford because I can't pronounce the other name for it.
AstraZeneca.
Yes, that just has to be refrigerated, which is a lot easier.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, I think we've ran over.
Yeah, but I guess even if you were an alien, you wouldn't want to come to a world that's absolutely done in, because in film, aliens usually come for a specific reason that COVID actually might ruin. So depends.
Such as,
quite often they come to Earth in movies because they want the planet for resources.
Oh yeah, okay.
So you're talking like the fifth wave, Battle Los Angeles, they're actually there for water because
Oh yeah,
it's actually
that's
quite
right. Yeah.
water's quite rare in the universe, which is actually a reason they might come to Earth if they existed, or if they existed to that scale. Is actually water because there's not a lot of water in other places. Like obviously, you think we found some in Mars, but that's a little bit. If you think about what we're like 80% water or something, Earth, or is it higher than that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
what
should
is it?
know this, and I don't.
Anyway, it's quite a high majority of water.
Yeah.
So that's usually something aliens want when they come here. So that across all movies, that tends to be the thing. They want the Earth and don't want humans in the way at all.
Surely they would come here to steal the water while we are distracted with coronavirus.
That actually makes sense. Has anyone checked the sea levels while we're during Corona?
Check the sea levels, guys.
Either that or they come for humans, like sea probing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens are always like, oh, we're going to probe. What if we mistranslated that? Right? Imagine probing is actually the aliens have picked us up for like a date and they're probing you with questions.
Welcome to Florpa Gorpa Zorb. My name's Chad. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite Kardashian? And how many toes do you have?
An alien dating app. You have to put in height, hair color, interest, number of eyes, number of limbs.
Number of intergalactic dating.
Yeah. I mean, see when a lot of times in films as well, there's like alien groupies.
That's right. Yeah, you've got like hippie aliens. You mean?
No, I mean like people that love the aliens. Like if you've ever seen Independence, I think it's Independence Day. When the ship is like above the city, there's people that are like, yeah, we love the aliens. Yeah.
Then they get vaporized.
Yeah, they almost always die. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But do you think
That just
do you think that's how they would be? Like if they actually turned up in films, you get the two. You get, oh, these are really cool aliens. We're scientists and we love aliens. Or we're head of the military, blow them up.
Yeah, you always have in the movie, you've got the scientist who wants to study them and communicate with them. Yeah. And do it peacefully. Then you've got the guy with the buzz cut with the 10 medals on his uniform who wants to use the nukes.
Yeah. He hates aliens, but as in all
Let's
definition
kick some alien butt.
Of alien. You can tell from those movies.
Yeah.
Which
I think, what do you think would happen though? Genuinely, if, for example, have you seen Arrival?
Yes.
Yeah. These big monoliths. What are they? Just like are they big like pebble shaped things that come down from space?
Yeah, they look like coffee beans.
Yeah, and one of them lands in like every major continent, and each continent in the world has a different reaction to it and a different way of studying it, essentially. Yeah. What do you think would happen, for example, if a big monolith came down over Glasgow, Scotland?
Well, I think in terms of people on the street, you just get, your classic Glasgow junkie, just like sitting in the park screaming at this thing, like screaming profanities at it as he's out his mind. I think that would be a large kind of thing. I feel like if anything actually landed, I think people would be so scared to go anywhere near it.
Definitely.
Because if they're smart enough to get here, I feel that they could blow us up easy whenever they want. Yeah,
they're smart enough to make shit explode.
Yeah. I think you get people more willing to stay inside and just not do anything than ever. Because it's like, I don't want to be outside. They might pick me up. They might kill me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. In terms of like Scotland, I feel like possibly they try and communicate before blowing up. But we do have the
nuclear submarines and Trident and all that kind of stuff, don't we?
Yeah, I think as soon as that comes into the atmosphere, that's getting targeted.
Oh, for sure. There's quite often Russian planes and Russian aircraft will come into like Scottish airspace, just like off the northeastern coast of Scotland, and like they'll scramble like in St Andrews Air Force Base, I think it is. They'll like scramble RAF jets and just like boofed up to meet it as soon as it enters or like is about to enter airspace. There's got all these like Typhoon jets with like missiles and stuff, and you're like, how does Scotland, like coming from Scotland, I don't see us as a militarized, hard nation at all. We're just chill, We've got music, we've got alcohol, we've got, some light manufacturing industry, and there's fucking nuclear submarines and fighter jets just like fighting off Russian bombers.
Yeah, but in terms of like military tech, Scotland produces quite a lot of that. See the anti-missile stuff on American ships? So the things
Yeah.
that go, oh, something's going to come and target those.
Yeah.
Most of those are made by Scotland. Radar systems we're quite good at.
Yeah, big time.
So a lot of the tech on stuff, we're up there. But yeah, we don't tend to. I feel like we're probably not as quick to use military force, or we just don't. We'll fight the aliens.
It's interesting because we managed to have, a defense force and also free education,
Oh, this is hella political, yeah.
Oh yeah, we said we wouldn't get into politics.
We won't get into politics.
Anyway, I think we've ran the course of this time.
Yeah.
Rory, I'll let you say the closing remarks.
Well, if you tuned in for episode 2, thank you very much for coming back. Hope you enjoyed this one. We forgot to say in our first one, but if you like this podcast or you like any of the stuff around it, if you're on one of the apps that you can leave a like or a comment, go ahead and do that. And if you're on the YouTube channel, do the same thing.
We have
Thanks
a
for
YouTube
listening,
channel?
guys. We have a YouTube channel.
Well, that's new to me.
But thanks for listening, guys.